to show in what was needed for me, to implant in me what he created me to do. Because when he created me, he looked at me and said, oh wait, hold on. He looks too much like Pastor Reyes. Let me make him one this one. Oh wait, hold on. He looks too much like other preachers that I don't want to hear him preaching like. Hold on, give me 1 second. Oh, hold on. Let me bring him a little shorter so he can look at a certain level.
That's not funny.
God took his time with me. He created me because he already envisioned what I was going to do. But then we're so selfish that we don't even think of it that profoundly. Because if you create something, the creation can't do something opposite of what it's created to do. So when it does something opposite of what it's created to do, then people start wondering, well, why is that doing that? That's not what it's created to do. There's no way that what they were destined to do is the way they're supposed to. You ever see how they started inventing robots? And robots are supposed to be specifically doing one thing, right? I was seeing a commercial the other day. You know, the president lady, they made a robot of her. And Flo, the machine Flo was doing exactly what machine Flo was going to do. Hey, savings. And then the other one said, oh no, I can't do this. And pull out the machine and she's out. See, because that Flo was created to do exactly what people were supposed to do. Hey, there's insurance. Hey, what's up? And that's exactly what happened with us. God created each and every one of us to do one specific task. What he called us to do, not what we want to do, what he called us to do. So when we do what we want to do, we go totally opposite of what he called us to do. And then you wonder why you get short out sometimes. And then you wonder why you're repeating the same thing over and over again. And then you wonder why the same problems come at you over and over and over again. And then you wonder why you try to do something, you try to live this specific life, but then you wonder why you're still stuck. It's because you're going about your own way and not going to what God called you to do. And then we wonder why he says your ways are not my ways. Go ahead, do what you want to do. But I'm not calling you to do that. And then you wonder why when you go according to the opposite of what God's calling you to do, everything just starts falling down. And the things that you thought would never happen to you happen to you.
Daddy, he's on the G.
But God always says, your ways are not my ways. So go ahead. Go do what you want to do. But don't expect the things to be the way you think they're supposed to be. And then you wonder why people come back to church in wheelchairs. And then you think people come back to church when they're at gunpoint. And then you wonder why people come to church when they get a sickness all of a sudden. It's because if you want to go your own way, go ahead. But your ways are not my ways. Or your thoughts, my thoughts. So if you're thinking that going to church is a specific way, it's not the way that I want you to think. If I called you to do something, don't think of it as others thought about it. Think of it the way I want you to think about it. The way I see it. Because God created us for a purpose. God called you to do what he called you to do. Amen. Not what I'm doing, not only what the pastor is doing, but going in the vision of the church, but according to what you're called to do. That's why it's not a coincidence when you're doing things of God, not for God. The problem with church today is that you're offering people to do something for God, when you're supposed to be doing something of God. Yes. The difference is doing something of God and doing something for God. Because anybody in this world can say, I did it for God. Oh, I helped the homeless because it's a Christian thing to do. God ain't asking you for his help. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. But we want to do things for God instead of doing things of God. And then churches say, oh, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. No. Don't do God favor. Do what God called you to do. Yeah. Because it comes from here to do what you're already supposed to do. You're supposed to be helping the homeless. You're supposed to be speaking to your family and friends of what God has done in your life. You're supposed to be doing those things. It's not a helping God matter. And then you wonder why people get so selfish. And then you wonder why people start doing this and doing that and going about their way. Because church now is like going to a team event to go see the cast, and then you want to do a certain thing and applaud and do this whatever you feel like doing. You only want to see specific preachers. Oh, this person's preaching today. It's fine, I won't go. Oh, Pastor Reyes ain't preaching today. It's all right, I'll stay home. I'll watch it on the internet. Because we're so caught up in living this fantasy in church. And that's the reality of it. And why do you think so many people are struggling to want to do things for God and come back to church? It's because church people now are living a fantasy Christian life. Like everything is okay. Like everything is well and dandy. It's not like that. We're human. Things happen to us, but for a reason, to keep pushing us forward into our destiny. But the ones that are going about their own way give up easily. And too many people give up way too easily. So then we go about us, and us, and us, and us, and us, and everything's about us and us and us. And then in verse 9, we see that God is saying that for as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways. See, when you start thinking in an earthly matter, in your own ways, you're not at any level. You're at a society level where you're only going to do so much to just be rough. But when God's saying that it's heavenly, and those ways are higher ways, it's that when you're doing what God called you to do,